Hello, everyone, and I'm here with a quick little video just to remind everybody of this um, big day that it is today, the 60th anniversary of the assassination of John F. Kennedy in Dallas, Texas, on November 22nd, 1963. Today is November 22nd, 2023. Now, I'm working on the Thanksgiving special right now, guys, but I just want to make this quick little video and just kind of give you a rundown on the assassination because it was a very historic event and it, pretty much changed the eyes of Americans afterwards. We got some dogs back here. Basically, as you know, John F. Kennedy was shot in Dallas, Texas, 60 years ago today, November 22nd, 1963. He was the last president to be assassinated and the last president to die in office. These dogs around here. The assassin who shot him was a man named Lee Harvey Oswald.
Shut up!
And he fired 3 bullets as John F. Kennedy was riding in a car with his wife and also the governor of Texas at the time. He fired 3 shots. The first shot went straight through his head and into the governor, hit the governor of Texas in the leg. Maybe not a lot of people know that. And then the second shot was fatal. He basically died on the spot. Out of the 4 presidents that have been assassinated, Lincoln, Garfield, and McKinley, Kennedy's the only one to actually die on the spot. Lincoln pretty much did, but he actually lived to about 7 a.m. the next morning after he shot by Booth in 1865 in Ford's Theater. Now, after Oswald shot Kennedy, no one really knew where the shots were coming from at that point. It was about 12:30 in the afternoon at that time. So he rushed onto a bus. He hitched a ride on a bus and then took a taxi back to his house. There he grabbed a coat and a pistol. So he ran out. A policeman called him over to his car shortly after that near an intersection. The cop's name was Dallas policeman J.D. Tippit. And basically, they were just having a nice old conversation. And then Oswald whipped out his pistol and shot him 5 times and killed him. So not only did Oswald kill Kennedy, but also Dallas police officer J.D. Tippit also was killed. There's actually a historic site in Dallas, memorial for J.D. Tippit. A lot of people don't know that, but that's what happened. After that, he eventually made his way over to a movie theater where he was eventually caught. But he actually whipped out his pistol again, threatened to shoot the police, but they did arrest him. And then about 2 days later, on live television, Oswald was shot and killed himself by a man named Jack Ruby. Killed him on live television. Now there were some things going on with him. He went through the appeals. They were originally going to give him the death sentence, but they decided not to, and he did die of cancer a couple years later, 1967. So that's kind of the story of that. Now, after John F. Kennedy was shot, obviously, Lyndon B. Johnson, he took the oath of office back on Air Force One on the way back to after Dallas. He was going to give a speech, but that never happened, obviously. What are you doing, dog? So, yeah, that's the legacy. Kennedy, he'd only been in office for about 2 years, but he did a lot of good stuff for the country in that amount of time. So that's the story behind the Kennedy assassination. That's what happened 60 years ago today, everyone. So crazy story, very violent. I mean, there were a lot of assassinations in the 1960s. His brother, Robert Kennedy, was shot and killed a couple years later in 1968. So, and the guy that killed him, Sirhan Sirhan, is actually still alive in prison today. But it's pretty crazy. Lydia, what do you think about Kennedy? Come look at Lydia. Look how she's. But yeah. So that's today in history. 1963, November 22nd. Here's Sophia. Got the dogs. We're surrounded by dogs right now. But yeah, I'm not a dog. Okay. So that's the story behind that. Now there's a lot of conspiracies with all this stuff, but most of them are probably not true because a lot of them are not legitimate and stuff like that. So, but the Kennedy assassination is very, very interesting, and it touched the lives of many Americans. I was going to share this story right now. My grandmother, who's not alive anymore, she was in second grade at the time of the Kennedy assassination. She remembered coming home from school when her mom was crying because she'd heard on the news that the president had been shot. And so she remembered that like 50 years later because it was a big, big deal. I mean, president assassination, I mean, it's crazy. So, yeah, average old day that turned into ridiculousness. So that is a little bit on, just to remind you guys, today in history, 60 years ago today, the Kennedy assassination. I couldn't do a big old fledged video on it because I've been very busy, but I wanted to touch on it because it's a very important event in history, and it's been 60 years since that happened. Not many people alive that remember it today, but if there's anybody that you know that remembers it, you can drop down story in the comments section. But that's it for the Kennedy assassination. 60 years ago today. Thank you guys for watching. Be sure to comment, like, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye. Wham!